Somerset Community Foundation helps passionate people in Somerset change the world on their doorstep by funding local charities and inspiring local giving and philanthropy. Through our funding programmes, we aim to build stronger communities in Somerset where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. We award funding to organisations that are often hidden from view and not well known, but are the living heartbeat of our communities, tackling tough challenges, building hope and improving people's lives. We provide rewarding and impactful ways for donors to give through us to the causes and places they care most about. Since we were founded in 2002, and thanks to the partnerships we have with so many donors and funders, we've awarded more than £16 million in funding to thousands of organisations, changing countless lives across Somerset. It's been a difficult year, but amazing to play our part in Somerset and help our donors and fund holders direct their support to where it's been most needed. The importance of our local community-based groups has never been more evident, and I'm pleased to report the Foundation rose to the challenge while keeping many of our regular day-to-day programmes also running. Here are the headlines for the 2020-21 financial year. Over £4 million of funding was awarded to local charities, community groups and social enterprises, a 71% increase on the previous year. That includes over £1 million awarded from our Coronavirus Fund, over £1.2 million from the Hinkley Point C Community Fund, and almost £275,000 as social investments from the Somerset Social Enterprise Fund. Our ability to respond to the pandemic in the way we have was due to the incredible generosity of local donors, the partnership we have with the Somerset County Council, and the amazing success of the National Emergencies Trust appeal.
Hi there, I'm Vary Sharp. I'm the Chief Executive of the National Emergencies Trust, and I helped to build the National Emergencies Trust in 2019 to drive the coronavirus appeal in 2020. We knew that the need in London was going to be very different to the need in Somerset, and that's not something that a national charity can easily account for. Beyond that essential local knowledge that community foundations bring, they also bring existing relationships with local organisations. They bring grant-making expertise and the passion required to deliver a truly equitable and inclusive distribution of funds. And of course, that unique culture of giving that comes with all community foundations.
We funded over 350 organisations last year, so it's very difficult to pick out examples that tell the story. But here are three that I hope will give you a flavour. Our communities are, of course, forever changing and new issues emerge, like the mental health crisis in young people. Where the most important role Somerset Community Foundation can play is to support new local groups at the start of their journey, and that is why we supported The Space in Cheddar.
The young people we support are facing many challenges, even pre-COVID. And at the moment, the issues that they're facing are very much about anxiety. It's very much about, sadly, self-harm, suicide ideation, and eating disorders. And then following from that, naturally, we've got bereavement issues that obviously have increased since COVID. But they can be varied. There's a lot of family relationship issues, friend issues, and then general worries about, well, what's going to happen to my exams? Am I going to be able to get a job? Am I going to be able to go to university? So the challenges that our young people are facing are very wide indeed. We are here, our purpose is to keep children and young people healthy, safe, well, but resilient. So the difference we want to make is that we want to be able to equip these young people with the skills to be able to cope with the challenges they're facing, but most of all, give them a toolbox so that they can continue to be resilient. And so far this year, we've supported 56 young people, and that was to the end of August, and we've got the rest of the year to go. So without that funding, we would not have been able to increase our counselling team and provided nearly 400 counselling sessions so far this year.
Every year, we see groups building on the strengths that lie within our communities to bring much needed help to others. A great example of this is how State of Trust uses arts and culture to bring people from different backgrounds closer together to build stronger communities.
We work with a range of different groups, and they have a variety of issues that we address with our work. For example, with our project Co-Mission, we work with disabled young people developing their creativity and their dance, because they're often sort of isolated, and people look at people in wheelchairs or people with mental health issues and often write them off as engaging in movement and creativity. So we're bringing their creativity and emotional well-being. It has such a major effect on people with disabilities. We've developed a project called Where is Home, which is an intergenerational creative music and dance project, and it's about basically bringing communities together. We're working in 15 schools, and we've got a care home involved, and we're going into communities where there's been a lot of migrant workers that have come into a community and they've not been particularly well received for a number of reasons. So we're trying to highlight the positive aspects of migration, and for everybody to identify that we're all on a journey, we've all got something to contribute. We've all moved, whether it's from Taunton to Bridgewater or from Africa to the UK. Often a bell goes off in people's heads that identifies that we're all the same. We've worked in 15 schools, but there's many, many more schools and many more care homes, so it'd be great to develop the project to a wider audience.
In recent years, we have increasingly been able to fund slightly larger organisations delivering programmes at scale across Somerset with specialist staff. Last year, we were able to provide funding to the Somerset Activity and Sports Partnership in their work with older people.
Somerset Activity and Sports Partnership is all about providing physical activity interventions, and the people we support tend to be those that are more vulnerable, or we really think about ourselves as tackling inequality. So many of the people we support probably have less good access to sport and physical activity as most people would think about it. We worked really hard over the pandemic to actually think about those people who were probably shielding in that first part of the year, and how that might be affecting them, because not being able to get outside if you're already not particularly mobile or you have a long-term condition is very isolating, and actually can move people into very difficult places. And if they've got no garden and they live in a small apartment or flat, moving can be really challenging. So we've used the funding to create resources for intervention. So we've done a Walk Your Way resource where, and alongside that a DVD that people can use. One of the other things that the Community Foundation funded was our Active Halls programme, which has been mind-blowingly successful. So in our village halls, we've such a rural county, and for our small individual operators to go back and do some of that strong and steady to prevent falls, to connect people back together in their village halls and community halls, they just, with the social distancing required, they just couldn't get enough people through the door that would make it worth their while setting up, as well as having to invest in huge amounts more equipment and sanitizer and all of those things. So we provided, the Community Foundation, I have to say, provided us with funding so that we could find a mechanism to grant aid some of those individual operators to allow those people who were older people who were confident to be able to get back and socialise, and that's been really key for us.
The Somerset Community Foundation really knows what is happening in the county of Somerset at every level, so they are able to access the required funding and so on, and expertise to help when there is a problem in a way which other people who have a more distant experience of life in the county of Somerset would be able to do.
I'm very grateful to all our supporters who make our work possible. from direct donations from individuals and local companies, to partnerships with the public sector, to legacies left to support our work in the future. It is only by working together that we can deliver funding to hundreds of life-changing small charities across Somerset. On behalf of everyone at Somerset Community Foundation and everyone we've helped, thank you for your support. I would also like to say a big thank you for the dedication and support of our staff, our trustees and other volunteers for generously giving their time and expertise to support the foundation. Looking ahead, local charities are continuing to experience high levels of demand from people who need a helping hand. By providing them with a straightforward way to access much needed funds, and in their hands a little money can go a very long way, together we really are changing the world on our doorstep.